It's that
Oh,
time.
that
Yeah.
Dawn, not this
Both
Dawn.
dons, both dons, all the dons have been ready.
All right, I'm gonna bring the meeting to order. Don Berby from 135 River Road.
Skip McDaniel, Select Board Rep.
Gary Mackinnon, Community Development Director.
Jess Duke, 50 Brown Hill Road.
Ben Davis, 9 Wheeler Road.
Casey DeStefano, 4 Hop Kiln Road.
Levi Berry, 19 Laurel Drive.
Jonathan Petrangelo, 5 Whittier Drive.
Sandy Crystal, 1 Riverview Drive.
Dawn Bringo, Land Use Assistant.
So we get no minor modifications or conceptual consultations. Okay. So we're gonna get right to the public hearings. Proposed zoning amendments. You're up here, Carrie?
Right, so let's do it. So these are ones that we returned to from our last meeting, so hopefully it's not too complicated. A is back on here again because we just rephrased the description of it basically. So again, it's removing the purpose statements from 4.01, putting them in the appropriate overlay district section, not changing the purpose statements in any way, and then updating the references to those purpose statements so it refers to the right location.
So it's the exact same wording, just in a different structure.
Correct.
Yeah, and yeah, I had left out the additionally part at the end where it, the references have been changed, but I didn't include that in the description before, so now it should all be covered.
Do you want to do public hearings one by one on these?
Yeah,
So that's a good idea, yeah.
So this is to amend section 4.01B, and I'll open this to public if anybody has any comments on the, that part?
I have a few questions,
Okay.
more of someone that doesn't really know how to read law this much. I assume that the part,
Actually, first, could you just
I'm
say
sorry,
your name and
Philip
address?
Miranda, 2 Abbey Road.
Okay.
I assume that the part that is referred to the wetlands, aquifer and the floodplains is mostly just rewriting the same thing on a different place.
Yeah, their purpose statements were all in the beginning in the section 4. And so we literally moved the exact same language into the part that's actually about the overlay district, so it is with it in its home.
That's what it
We
seemed to
didn't
me, but I
change the
didn't
words.
really want to
I
read
know.
everything.
I know.
It was a little too much.
But it really is that simple, we just moved it.
So I would say that the thing that changed for real was the part on the additional use or whatever they call it, the dwellings, the accessory dwellings, right?
Yeah, so when we get to C, yeah.
Is that part changing because of the state legislation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are just adapting our things to whatever they voted for the state,
Exactly.
because we were forced to change that.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we need,
Anything else? Public on that? I'm gonna open it again here anyway. We go on.
And also this part that says an existing structure may be converted into an ADU regardless of whether such structure, is that also on the RSA?
yes, do you wanna wait
yes.
until we get to that?
Yeah,
We're just talking about
so
A
we're,
right now.
yeah, we're gonna work down
sorry.
our list here and. All right, so with that, I'm gonna close the public hearing on A. The board get any other?
I'll make a motion to add, place on the warrant the, to amend section 401B.
One second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So we have our 5 regular members. All right, the ayes have it. All right, B, to amend section 5.11, table of use regulations to add multifamily housing as a permanent use in the commercial district, and to add section 7.28 regarding supplemental regulations for multifamily housings in the commercial district.
This one, we talked about these last time, I had put them as two separate items and we combined them into one to make sure one wasn't voted for and one against, so that was the only change from the last time you discussed it, is just combining them into one item
And this is again is
based on the state
the
requirements.
state
State law
requirement.
change.
One alternate, right?
Is that,
We have 6.
oh, are we 6?
Yeah, so there's gotta be one alternate.
All right, Ben, you're in.
Tristan said that.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does the board got any discussion on? No, Pete? I'll open to the public. Anybody has any questions or comments on B?
So this is the additional
Adding,
unit.
being able to do multifamily housing in a commercial district.
This is not the ADU.
Oh,
That's not the ADU one. That one's next. Okay, I
I
will
thought you had
close,
combined them, that's.
Oh, yeah.
I'll close the public hearing on that, move to C, to amend.
wanna do a
Oh, gotta,
I'll make a
trying to move it
motion,
right along.
I'll make a motion to place on the warrant the amendment to section 5.11.
Well, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You need to say section 7.28 on that one as well.
Yes,
You mean all of amendment B?
all of amendment B, I just forgot that.
Yeah.
So moved.
So moved.
All right, C, to amend section 7.04 regarding accessory dwelling units, ADUs. To update definitions to remove the requirement for a conditional use permit for detached accessory dwelling units. To allow 80 units to be built on any lot with single-family dwelling. To clarify and to add clause regarding ADUs in existing non-conforming structures.
Right, this is the big one. But this is all based on the changes to the state law. So previously, we had required a conditional use permit for ADUs. And now they are permitted. I updated the definitions to match what is in the state's language. And clarifying that, we used to have requirements that said that the lot had to have at least the minimum lot area or frontage, or sewer, one or the other, one of those three. Now it's, if there is a house, a single family house on a lot, you are allowed to have an ADU unit, as long as you can provide for water and waste disposal. So that's basically it. The size has not changed. We still say that it can't exceed 800 square feet of habitable floor area. At least one of the units will be occupied by the owner of the property, that's the same. And the other part is that an existing structure can be converted into an accessory dwelling unit regardless of whether it violates existing dimensional requirements. So if you have like a garage that's too close to your lot line, then would be allowed now, it'd be an existing non-conforming structure. You can put an ADU above the garage.
Yeah.
You can convert the garage into an
And if-
ADU, even if it's too close to your lot line.
I know someone.
Garage close to your lot line, don't you?
ADU here.
So does that, with that regulations, if that loft is over 800 square feet in area? Or is that, you just,
You
you
can
can
only
only-
use 800 square feet of it as habitable area. If you have a structure that's bigger than that, you could, have the whole back part as storage or yeah, anything else.
Really
Just
big
the
floor.
actual living area can't be.
that fits a couch?
It may not work.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's still one ADU per lot, whether it's attached or detached, you can't have one of each, one ADU per lot.
Okay. I'll open this to the public. Did we answer your questions, or we got some more for ADUs?
I just have, so that piece of that the structure, if it's existing, is also from the state law.
Exactly.
But it still applies all the regulations. If I don't have anything else in the property, I still need to have whatever distance from the lot or from the neighbor or from whatever that it valid, that is valid for a
You mean,
rec-
like if you were building a new structure, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, exactly, you still have to meet all the setbacks and requirements if it's a new structure, yeah.
If you have an existing structure that was
Then-
able to get
yeah.
built and it's too close to a lot line, or
That's fine.
that's, yeah.
And the part of having water and basically sewer, but not sewer.
Septic, yeah.
Septic, they still needs to apply for, if I'm putting 2 more bedrooms, they'll need to be a septic for that as well, right?
You have to have at least a plan approved that is for enough bedrooms for the total. You don't necessarily have to install it. That's also in state law, so, if you're, so you have
You
to,
gotta have the provisions to put it in, so
you
if you
have to be
gotta,
able to prove that you could put it in if yours were to fail. But you don't have to install it.
this is how the state is trying to solve our housing crisis.
I will say just anecdotally, we are seeing people actually installing septic systems for these ADUs. Oftentimes they'll do even a separate one, for the new area, but, or they'll say, oh, mine's pretty old anyway, let's just update it now. But,
I mean, that would be the wiser thing to do, because it would just be problems.
Yeah.
And those problems don't come up on nice sunny days. In the middle of the week, you know,
yeah.
In April 1st.
yeah. Okay, so I'll close the public hearing on that. So board get any other comment on that?
I'll make a motion to place on the warrant all of section C.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving right along to D, to amend section 10.01 to remove an applicant's alternative method for resolving a wetland boundary dispute, to make various other clarifications and corrections.
Right, so wetlands is what we talked about last time. I removed the section about grass clippings. We decided we weren't ready for that, so that is out. But otherwise, and you know, last time we talked about that section, about, sorry, I found it. That line about in the alternative, the applicant can retain their own wetland scientist. So this means if there is this dispute, the applicant's already hired a wetland scientist, there's a dispute, we don't believe that the boundary is correct, the applicant can't hire their own second wetland scientist. The planning board is going to select a third-party scientist to resolve the dispute. The same way.
Which would be the planning board wanting to ask for that third party review.
Yes, it could be most likely at the applicant's expense, but the planning board's going to select a scientist. We're not going to allow the applicant to pick a second scientist to solve the dispute.
Yeah.
And this is the same, you know, with like a third-party engineering review. We don't let the applicant hire their own third-party engineer. We hire the third party. Other than that, it's some clarification of language, some moving things around just to add some clarity. You know, specifying the, we added the shoreland rules to the list of, permits that are required, so the rest of it is,
Yeah, and then we moved that mitigation statement in 4 and moved it into 3 because it made more sense
yeah, it
there.
was in two separate places, we kind of just moved it together. The rest of it is pretty inconsequential, I would say.
Gary, I have a general just comment. Like, and it does pertain back to like some of these other ones that we've already gone through, but when when these are going on the warrant article,
Yeah.
like, is there a way for us to put some additional clarity in, like, as an example, C was because of RSA state.
I'll create like a voter's guide or like an informational sheet that has some narrative of why and what
Okay.
it means, with more descriptions, yeah, we'll
Cause I was gonna ask
It
the
won't
same thing
necessarily be
too.
on the ballot, but we will make that available to voters in advance of town meeting, for
Okay.
sure.
Good, alright, that was my only.
And if, in the past, I think the community development director has been at voting day, had a table to answer
Yeah.
questions. I don't know, maybe now that we're moving back to the school, there'll be room. I've been told in the past it's a space issue, but I don't know. I'm happy to do that if I'm
I
allowed.
mean, I think that's,
If I'm
I think
allowed
it's
to, I'm
good.
happy to
I
get
think it's
there.
good.
It's a good idea.
Cause we don't get a lot of members of the public coming to ask questions. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna open up D to the public. You got any questions, comments? I will close the public hearing on D. Bring it back to the board. Any other questions?
I'll make the motion to place on the warrant all of section D.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, the ayes have it.
Last but not least, E is about the time period for excavation permits. So I tried to make it more clear and less of a run-on sentence. So I took out the first part that says, with the exception of approvals for excavation, blah, blah, blah. And then, so first it just talks about we didn't change this, but the conditional use permits, special exceptions, variances. And then I added a new paragraph at the bottom that explains that the planning board will set a date for excavation approvals to expire. The date will correlate with the progress plan update requirements specified on their AOT permit. If there's no AOT permit, it shall be 5 years. And the AOT permit requirements are, I guess, always or close to always 5 years. So, essentially it's saying you have 5 years for your excavation permit.
Is that how you make correlate?
Oh gosh, no,
It is a acceptable
it's
variant, but
not
it
nice,
is,
it's not right though.
it's not the, not the usual one.
Yeah, it has 2
2
Rs.
hours.
Thank you. So, I'm happy to bring that back. I spelled it right on this sheet, not on this one. Okay. This is why we do this. I can bring that back on the 22nd and we will spell it correctly.
You have to, then.
I mean, maybe for a spelling error, we don't have to.
I don't think so.
Adding an R to court.
For a spelling error, we can probably get away with it.
So what happens with people that have a permit already that's active and the excavation, does that change or they're gonna, no?
So the permits that they have will expire when they expire, or they've already expired.
Yeah.
And then when they come back, it would be 5 years. And the idea is to align that with their AOT requirements so that they're not doing updates every single year. Okay.
Okay. I'll open E to the public if anybody's any.
What's the reason for this change?
So we were doing, it was a 2-year permit, and so most of them have an alteration of terrain permit with DES as well, which requires a 5-year update. So that would mean coming here at year 2, year 4, year 5, and year 6, you're doing updates almost every year. It's pretty cumbersome for the applicants to do that, so it made more sense to align and just do the 5-year when they're doing their update for AOT anyway. And the update is showing us how much material have you removed, where are you going to be excavating next. In addition, they are submitting reports each year, showing how much material has been removed, and that goes to the Department of Revenue Administration, and they pay taxes on that material. But, so there is reporting, but they're not coming to the planning board for that.
Okay, I will close the public hearing on E. Board? Any questions on it?
I'll make the motion to place on the warrant all of section E.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, that's done.
Nice.
Nice. Minutes. Mandy? Minutes?
Oh, minutes, no comments.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of
They look good.
December 18th, 2025.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I, is it excuse?
Abstain.
I'm gonna do the same, I wasn't there. Abstain.
Alright,
Before we adjourn, I just wanna say real quick, the master plan steering committee, the survey closes tomorrow. If anyone hasn't done it yet, no shame, just take a postcard so you can do it tonight. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Get more involved, Kip.
I did, I'll take it and find somebody
Hand it
to
to someone
give
How
else.
it
many
to.
responses do you
tonight.
have?
Thank
We
you.
are like a few shy of 500 and really wanna hit 500, so
wow.
like, if you
I'll send
know
her,
any,
I'll
if you
send her.
know anyone
Yeah,
who,
I'll send it around.
anyone. Okay, last call.
You get one last Facebook post of this is your last
I
chance.
will make blast it one more time tomorrow, just to final call, but I am pleased that we're
Yeah,
500
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
So we have to, the select board, we have to do a roll call vote down here?
This is not a non-public session, it is a
Okay.
non-meeting.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes, I
So is
saw,
there any
it doesn't
other-
meet the definition of a meeting,
Exactly.
So we make a motion to adjourn?
Unless there's anything else for the meeting, I'm all set.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.